Okay. So, can I actually do this? That'd be cool. Oh no, I can't. Can we fit that better? That would be nice. Nah, that's not gonna work. Whatever. Original plan. It's a very simple sort of layout that we have here. Um, so yeah, this will essentially act as a sort of summary of uh, do the snap. What? Um, this will act as a sort of summary for everything that will be planned in 2022 for the server, and including things not necessarily inside the server but are still very relevant to the server. Um, yeah, so the song that just played, in case you didn't know, well, before I get into that, I'll say what my original plan was. Um, it's so this this was meant to be much more high effort than than um, what it is now. Obviously, with just my little window camera, but I had the thought that I wanted to involve everyone and like record videos and just have it be pre-recorded basically and edited as well. But two, well, two things. One, I'm just way too lazy to do that, and I don't know how to edit really. And B, that sort of goes against the whole Shaq thing, doesn't it? So yeah, so I have just a couple of things today. It'll be very short, but I've always thought that doing our own direct is very cool, especially since we've now gotten um, much more active in doing things. So now uh, we kind of have things to announce, don't we? Um, so, first thing that I'll say is the song that was just playing, in case you don't know it, is the national anthem for Norway, which ties into the very first thing that I'm going to formally announce. It's probably the event that I've done that's gotten the most feedback, the most activity in the server single handedly, including people who were previously inactive. You know, it didn't necessarily cause inactive people to be active, um, but obviously I'm talking about the Norwegian roulette. I think it's one of the best um, things that's ever happened to the server. It's always interesting. It's always entertaining, especially the wheels when we're screaming and there's someone gets something that they don't really want, and blah blah blah. And so yeah, obviously I canceled the Norwegian roulette once I started college. This was in about um, July or August or something like that. Um, it will be coming back on February 1st, 2022. that is when the next wheel will be. So be sure that you are done with what you previously got from the game. You can find that in the roulette channel, obviously. I myself haven't even watched the thing that I was assigned. So do think about maybe what you want to suggest people to, to give people in the game and so on. So yeah, Norwegian Roulette on February 1st. I still have to watch my thing that really gave me. Yeah, February 1st. The next wheel of the roulette will happen. Now, obviously, I don't have any scene transitions or slides or anything like that. So the next thing that I'm going to formally announce is anyone who's been in the server for a exponentially long amount of time. That makes no sense. If you've been in this server for quite a while, you would know that this server originally, the sort of primary function of the server when it was first created, and then something that I sort of leaned into when I first showed up because I thought it would be funny, was the idea of a podcast. It's always been, well, because the Shack podcast back in the day, it was entirely masturbatory. It was exclusively listened to by people in the server. It was for the people in the server. They acted as these really fascinating time capsules. I still go back and randomly listen to random parts of them when I find them just on the channel if I'm logged in or whatever. So I will say, if you're expecting the same podcast that was back then, as fun as that probably would be, I don't see much value in it, and that's not something that I myself am going to do. But obviously, the nature of it back then is I was just recording all of our calls. So if anyone wants to do that, honestly, feel free to, with permission, obviously. But that's not what I'm going to announce. There will be a new podcast. It will be a two-person podcast. It will have guest people on it, obviously, and I haven't decided on a definitive name for it yet. But I've always thought that podcasts are very fun, and they're a really good way. They're a good excuse to just talk to people. And I think that one of the most fascinating people to talk to for me personally has always been just Nico. We've known each other for a very long time, and our worldviews and just the things that we agree on and disagree on, and both of our sense of humors and the way that he plays off of me, and vice versa. So I'm going to announce that in 2022, I'll be doing a podcast with Nico, with just the two of us. And, much like the sort of previous Shack podcast, I don't plan on releasing it everywhere or advertising it anywhere. Honestly, that's not something that I'm really interested in the first place. It will sort of be for you. If you want to listen to me and Nico talk about things, or maybe you yourself might get invited. I don't know how I'm gonna figure out other people if they do get involved, but Nico and I will be doing a podcast in 2022, so look forward to that. Not sure when the first episode will be or when it will be out. I assume it'll be sometime in January. But yeah. And then the final sort of series of things that I wanted to bring up was obviously the events, the event club, as it was, previously. Now it's just a bunch of random things, and the sort of structure of it has totally changed, because initially the idea was very clearly to get everyone's favorite things and show them to everyone else. So I tried my best to, take other people's favorite films, favorite albums, and that's how we got some really popular ones like, say, oh my God, what's the name of that movie? Brigsby Bear. Brigsby Bear was one that Arrow actually sort of recommended, and so I was like, okay, and so we all gathered and watched it, and it was great. Everyone loved it. Um, Recently, uh, it sort of changed into purely just a vehicle for me to sort of share some of my favorite things. You know, you could make you could make an argument that it's ultimately mine and it's my thing that other people are joining in, but I would like to somewhat have it return to what it once was. Um, I don't have much info on that per se. Obviously, I still have some of the old data that I used to have, like some of Ray's albums that she sent. Relly actually sent in some really fascinating stuff. But yeah, I can confirm a couple for you though, and I will even try to assign dates to them. It would be very bold to assign dates to them, but I'm gonna try to do it anyway. So, January 1st, it's my 21st birthday. I will be out throughout the morning and the afternoon, but at night I wanted to do something on the night of January 1st. Um, and if you would be willing to join me, I suppose. I wanted to sort of show one of my favorite films that uh, not a lot of people have seen quite yet. That being the film Old Boy. Um, so if you have not seen the film Old Boy and you want to particularly see it, on January 1st, sometime in that, you know, night time EST or evening, you know, after dinner or so on. Just after dinner, really. Anytime after dinner. Old Boy is the plan. I will be watching it either way, rain or shine, just because it's been a while and I want to watch it. I like Old Boy. But yeah, January 1st, Old Boy. And then January 2nd, which is Sunday. Sunday. Obviously, I'm still going to ask people about this, but I have already teased it. It's the Fleet Foxes events. Um, the sort of similar thing that we did with Godspeed You, Black Emperor. I am writing a sort of history of the band as we listen through some other albums. Fleet Foxes is one of my favorite bands, and it's a band that has a really fascinating history, and the history sort of informs the subject matter of the albums in a lot of different ways. So on January 2nd, uh, to accommodate the Euros, hopefully sometime in the afternoon, uh, I would love to get an event going where we listen to their debut album. Just their debut album, nothing more. It's like a 40-minute listen. I think that's very safe. Um, so more info about that, including the little sign up thing where you react to the image if that time or date is good for you. Uh, Fleet Fox's debut album, January 2nd, sometime in the afternoon. I'll work out the details um, the sooner that we get to it. Once that sort of happens. Um, the other things which I will not give dates to, but before I go back to school, which will be on January 6th or so, um, I would just love to cram as many things as possible. So if any of you would possibly be free on January 3rd, 4th, and 5th, um, or sorry, just 3rd and 4th, just Monday and Tuesday. I'll be busy on the 5th. If you're free at all on January 3rd or January 4th, would love to also get something going, whether it's the continuation of the Fleet Foxes event or any other movie events. Um, for example, I've been really wanting to watch a film called Amadeus. It's like a fictional biographical film about the rivalry between Mozart and Salieri. Um, Really interesting looking film that I've wanted to see for a very long time, but I've been putting it off for an event. Um, so if that's something that you're into, or you think you just want to show up for the event either way, um, look out for that too. Obviously, all of these frogs will be posted in their respective channels when the time comes. Look out for the Old Boy Frog immediately after this, as well as the Fleet Foxes Frog immediately after this. Um, and yeah, I have more vague ideas for 2022. I'll say a couple of things. Um, if you haven't seen The Lobster and you wanted to show up for that event, I don't plan on doing it. Scheduling it is rough, and the vast majority of people in the server have seen it, so I'm not too concerned. It was like one or two people who had not seen it yet. Otherwise, I think we're done with the whole Yorgos meme. Um, yeah. Um, for the sort of games like Kinky Cards and the other one, I forget the name of it. What was the point of that one? Did we ever do another one? How have I just completely fucking forgotten? Anyway, as for the sort of party games that we were doing, um, I would still love to do those. I'm just not sure how high of on the priority chart that they're going to be, considering, um, school and people will be busy and somewhat. Um, Luca's going to term 3 and whatnot. Oh, tropes. That's right, tropes. It was the tropes one. But yeah, yeah. As the sort of court jester of the shack, this was the direct. Again, to summarize, the roulette wheel, February 1st. So do your things. Podcast with Nico and I coming, as well as uh, um, events happening literally this weekend, 1st and 2nd, as well as the 3rd and 4th, hopefully. But again, more info about that will follow. But yeah, that was it. That's all. That is it. This will be the end of the direct. I will post those frogs now, and then I will go back to playing Final Fantasy 14 and leveling up the Marauder class. There is no one more thing